Hello, my friend. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about a very specific moment, a moment you probably know well. You are listening to English. You understand what is being said. You feel comfortable. Everything makes sense. And then, someone looks at you, or asks you a question, or waits for your answer. And suddenly, the English you understood so clearly feels far away. It doesn't disappear completely, but it slips. And you may think, where did my English go? I understood everything. Why can't I answer? Today, I want to explore this moment with you. Not to fix it quickly, not to give tricks, but to help you understand why this happens and why it is not a failure. Let's slow down. Take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your face soften. Good. Now listen carefully. Listening and answering live in different worlds. Listening is receptive. Answering is expressive. When you listen, you receive meaning. When you answer, you must create meaning. Creation always feels heavier than reception. This is true in language, it is true in art, it is true in life. When you listen, your brain is free to follow. There is no risk, no responsibility, no expectation. You can stay quiet. Silence is allowed. But when you answer, silence feels different. Silence feels visible. Invisibility creates pressure. Pressure changes how your brain works. Now let's talk about pressure. Pressure does not remove knowledge, it restricts access. Your English is still there, but the door becomes narrower. This is why it feels like English slips away. It's not gone, it's just harder to reach. Now let's talk about attention. When listening, your attention is outward. You focus on the speaker, on meaning, on understanding. When answering, attention turns inward. You start watching yourself. You hear your accent, you judge your grammar, you monitor your words. This inner attention interrupts flow. Flow needs space. Now let's talk about flow. Flow happens when action continues without interference. Listening is flow-friendly. Answering becomes flow-blocked when you interfere too much. This interference often sounds like, is this correct? Is this a good sentence? Should I say it differently? These thoughts feel responsible, but they slow you down. Now let's slow this down further. Imagine walking. You don't think about each step. If you do, walking becomes awkward. Speaking works the same way. Now let's talk about response speed. Many learners believe, if I don't answer quickly, I'm bad at English. But speed is not the goal. Continuity is. A slow response that continues the conversation is more fluent than a fast response that stops it. Now let's talk about small answers. You don't need full answers to stay connected. Small responses are powerful. For example, yeah, I see. That's interesting. I'm not sure. These responses keep you present. Presence matters more than complexity. Now let's talk about presence. Presence means you stay in the conversation, even if your English feels simple. Presence trains confidence. Confidence reduces pressure. Reduced pressure keeps English accessible. Now let's talk about listening again. Listening does more than build understanding. It builds expectation. Your brain learns what usually comes next. Later, when answering, your brain can reuse these patterns. But this reuse only happens if you allow yourself to answer imperfectly. Perfection blocks reuse. Now let's talk about perfection. Perfection feels safe, but it is slow. Imperfect speech feels risky, but it builds fluency. You must choose growth over comfort, but gently. Now let's talk about shadowing again. Shadowing trains the transition from listening to speaking without decision-making. You hear, you speak. No pause, no planning. This trains your brain that answering is not dangerous. Now let's talk about the body again. When answering feels hard, check your body. Is your jaw tight? Is your breath shallow? Listening does not activate speaking muscles. Answering does. Tension there changes everything. Now take a slow breath out. Notice how the body relaxes. Relaxation restores access. Now let's talk about comparison again. Do not compare your answers to native speakers. Compare your ability to stay in the conversation to yesterday. That is progress. Now let's talk about time. This slipping feeling does not last forever. As your brain gains more experience, the distance between listening and answering shrinks. Not suddenly, not dramatically, quietly. One day, you answer without panic. You don't even notice when it started. Now let's talk about trust. You must trust that your English is there. Your listening is preparing answers. Your brain is learning timing. Trust reduces interference. Now let's slow down again. Take a breath. Notice how calm brings clarity back. Calm is not passive. Calm is efficient. Now let's anchor this gently. Say silently, "My English doesn't disappear. It becomes quiet under pressure. I can bring it back with calm." Again, I can bring it back with calm. Good. Now let's close softly. If English feels easy when you listen, but slips when you answer, you are not broken. You are learning how to move from understanding to expression. That movement takes time. Be patient with it. Keep listening, keep answering simply, keep staying present. Your English will stop slipping when pressure fades. Thank you for being here today. Tomorrow, we can explore how to answer with less thinking or how to stay calm when it's your turn to speak. I'll see you again inside the Shadowing English room.